You are very inappropriate.
I like being inappropriate.
BROADScast is entertaining.
Come on, if I can't mess with you, this is not going to be fun.
BROADScast is thought-provoking.
That is a riveting revelation, Ms. Goldman.
BROADScast is unexpected.
Who do you like better, the person that people think you are or the actual you?
Oh, God.
Because they're nothing alike.
Broad topics, broad minds, broad hosts, but not just for broads.
We are man-friendly. I hope to be. I am man-friendly. I can't say the same about Kim. Wait, that sounded bad.
This is BROADScast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall.
Good morning. Hey, we have a very similar laugh.
We do?
Yeah, that cackle. Yeah.
Cacklecast.
Cackle.
Coming soon to a, yeah. Hey, welcome to BROADScast.
What?
Welcome.
That was my line. Welcome to BROADScast. I'm sitting here with my co-host Jackie McDougall.
And I'm sitting here with this wackadoodle, Kim Goldman.
Hi.
Hi. So tell us a little bit about why this episode is the special Mother's Day episode right after I thank our sponsor, Udemy.com. So if you guys don't know about Udemy, you can learn like a crap load of stuff over there from like you could learn podcasting and design and world languages and finance. They have like online courses that you can take in almost anything. And from May 15th, which has already happened, to May 26th, all classes are $10.
Did I have a class on time management?
I probably
and prioritizing.
$10,
That's
Kim.
amazing. Yeah.
$10.
What are we doing?
So seriously, I mean, there are just so many different things. Like if you've ever wanted to try something and you're not sure if you're interested in it,
Right.
like during this $10 sale is the perfect time to go over there and take a class. That's exactly how I learned the art of podcasting through John Lee Dumas, and then has, and he's become like a sort of a mentor, and he was actually on our special episode, So You Want to Be a Podcaster. So seriously, go right now and get your $10 course while you can. Go to broadscast.com/Udemy. That's broadscast.com/UDEMY. You will not be sorry.
So the reason I ask about time management classes is because this is our Mother's Day special that we are airing after Mother's Day. Woohoo!
Yeah!
And Jackie and I were contemplating whether or not we should do the show. And I was like, but this is what motherhood's all about. Like pulling it together last minute, trying to do everything all the time. And life got in the way of our Mother's Day show.
So it's sort of like the anti-Mother's Day Day show?
But I think it's the reality that this is what happens. Like we set the expectation, we've tried and just the best laid plans. And this is like, scrambling and this is motherhood in its rarest form today.
So we're going to talk motherhood today, right?
Yeah.
And we have a guest. Brendy. She's been on before. I love the sass and what is that? Vinegar. What do they call that?
Piss and vinegar?
Oh, no. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the phrase, piss and vinegar, full of piss and vinegar.
Brendy, welcome to the show.
Piss and vinegar?
Yeah. So I have to say, I'm not usually, sometimes I unfollow people on Facebook because it's just way too much, but I can't get enough of Brendy's posts about her kids because she seriously has the most adorable children. And when you post things, okay, so Brandy's the mother of 3 boys, and she left a very successful job that she had to stay home and be a fantastic mom to her 3 boys. And I have to tell you that watching the things that you do with your kids and the teachable moments and the lessons and how you incorporate something smart into everything, really made me feel inadequate as a parent.
Like you wanted to go back and redo it.
Yeah, like you just posted something that you did like an emergency exit plan with there's a fire with your kid.
Wait. How old are your kids?
4, 2, and 10 months.
But she had a whole drill, like how to get him out of the house. And I'm thinking, I still haven't done that. And my kid's 14. And I'm just like, dude, run. Get the F out. There's a fire. I did no lessons. But I applaud you for that. And I appreciate the patience that you instill or that you emote when you're doing these videos. So good for you.
But wait until they're teenagers and they're like, I'm not doing your stupid plan.
Yeah, and then you're going to understand the piss and vinegar comment by the time they're
they think it's real cute now, and they're like, oh yeah, we're doing a fire drill, and in a few years they're gonna be like, Mom, for reals? We know how to get out of the dang house.
Yeah.
It definitely
But thank you.
changes the things that we, when we're like cutting up fresh vegetables and freezing baby food and refuse to buy out of jars and stuff like that. Like, then the real world kind of like comes in, and you realize in preschool when the kid offers your kid the Twinkie and you gave him the healthy lunch that like it's a free for all out there.
Well, and the Twinkie's probably 20 years old and still delicious. So
They're disgusting.
So, Brandy, I have a question for you. So Jackie and I always talk about like expectations and, around Mother's Day. And you and I, Brandy, have never discussed this, but do you have an expectation of what Mother's Day is supposed to look like? Like, not the froofy. Well, I'm not going to tell you what to say. Do you have an expectation around what Mother's Day is supposed to look like?
Ooh, okay. I'm now deciding whether I should let my husband listen to this podcast on the spot. So I'll be totally transparent and say that the first few years of my official Mother's Day, I had a lot of bitterness and resentment because I did anticipate this big thing, and I don't even know what I was expecting, but it wasn't ever happening. And so my expectations were just a source of my frustration. And so one year I was so upset with my husband for not really doing anything, but he was falling in line with everything that he had done the previous few years. I mean, he's very low key. He's not this extravagant person. So I don't know what I was thinking that all of a sudden on this third weekend of May, he was going to be this Hallmark Lifetime original movie man. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. So one year, like 2 years late, like 2 months after Mother's Day, I sat him down and I said, listen, we don't do Valentine's Day. We really don't do birthdays. We really don't even do Christmas. Like, can we just do Mother's Day? Because that's the one thing that I feel sad about. I'm never really sad if we don't do anything for my birthday because I don't care about it. But I found that I was being sad. So once I communicated that with him, and I waited until I wasn't mad, and I said, I just think Mother's Day should be special, and I don't really know what that looks like. Can we work on that? Then he's kind of knocked it out of the park ever since I told him that it was important to me. But I don't really know what that looked like until it kind of evolved as I became a mom for more and more time. So I don't know if that answers your question. But
what does knocked it out of the park look like, Brandy?
Yeah.
Oh, this year, you guys, he made a ring. And I don't really wear jewelry, but he's a woodworker. And so he has a finished carpentry skill set. And he was out in the garage every night for about 20, 30 minutes. And he made this ring that had 3 different kinds of hardwood, and they're all different color, and they represent the 3 boys. And he made it by hand, and so it's really special. And quote unquote, the 4-year-old helped him with that. So really, I don't know what that meant. It probably meant he just had a broom and he was cleaning up some stuff. But it was nice that he had apparently spent some time thinking about it and went and got some special tools and had my son help him, quote. And it was a really beautiful thing that I can keep. And it was a special thing that now has my kids, personalities built into it. So I loved it.
Okay,
and it cost like $20.
20. Oh, jeez. Okay, so again, full disclosure, I follow you. I mean, we're friends on Facebook, and I know all the creative things that you do in your life for holidays and birthdays, and you always make something special. What did your kids do for you for Mother's Day?
They brought me some decorated trash from preschool. The 4-year-old did. It was very sweet, but it was a soda
Reduce,
bottle.
reuse, recycle.
Yes, we're a very green family. But he made a little like paper mache thing at preschool, and he brought it home, and I did throw it away, and he found it last night, and he brought it back inside.
You threw it away?
It is a soda bottle that has paper glued on it. So I didn't have any more flowers. And so I'm like, and I'm a minimalist and I throw stuff away. And there's probably going to be some therapy involved in that for my kids later. But he brings it back in the house and he's all, Mom, you threw this in the trash on accident. And I'm all, totally on accident.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry. So yeah, but it was cute. And then his little preschool, we got the handprints that I put in their file for later. But yeah, but I did throw away the decorated trash. Sorry.
So does your husband help the younger two? Because I know Cash goes to school and he does that. Do the younger two get assistance from Papa Bear to help do something for Mother's Day?
This year they didn't, but in years past he's had them quote draw me something, and he wrote happy birthday or happy Mother's Day. But the kids are, I mean, Miles is 2, so he's still in the eating marker phase of life. So we don't like him to have markers so much, and the baby is 10 months and can't hold anything. So he kind of does some like scribbles on
They're
paper.
off the hook. They're off the hook.
Yeah, and then he will write in parentheses like, this is Miles spit up, or this is the baby ate this part. You know, he put an arrow next to it. So he kind of does that stuff. And I do keep those because that's kind of cute. So,
Right.
But yeah, he does give the baby some assistance.
So I have to ask the two of you, like, I feel like Mother's Day and how it's portrayed on social media kind of creates like a whole new mommy war in some way, because there's like the one who's in the Turks and Caicos, you know, getting her toes like
Nibbled by
painted
leeches. Oh.
while she drinks a pina colada and, you know, is living the life. And it's probably total BS because he's probably hungover or like off golfing and whatever. But
Wow.
But I don't.
Where'd you go right there, Jackie?
I don't know where I'm going there. But take that one to a therapy session. But, and then there are the other ones who are like, I don't need anything. I don't need to be praised and blah, 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 which kind of feels like a criticism for those who maybe want a little bit of extra something that day. And I just feel like, as women, are we judging other people by how they want to spend their Mother's Day or how they want to be celebrated?
I don't know. I think it depends really on your personality, and I think everybody has different ways that they feel loved. Other people love gifts. I'm not necessarily a gift person. I like service, like doing stuff for me. That's how I feel loved. So the gift of the ring was kind of an interesting because it was both. So I loved that. But I think if you know the way you feel loved, whoever you've got in your life should work on making you feel that way throughout the year, and then highlight it on Mother's Day or special occasions. So you got to figure out, it's got to be tailored. It can't be just cookie cutter, because then that person doesn't feel loved. They feel kind of maybe like a burden.
Right. And making that ring, it's like you can't make a ring last minute that morning. Like you can, run out and do whatever.
Yeah.
So I think
Sure.
that's really interesting. When you feel that like, oh, there was some thought into this, like that's really important. But you make a point. So I feel like you're referencing the love languages book there. Is that something
Yeah. Yes.
What is it called? The 5 love languages?
The 5 love languages. And it doesn't matter who you are. You should read it, because everybody feels love or feels unloved at one point in their life. And it's really helped me figure out the way my husband feels loved and the way I feel loved and the way my kids feel loved. Because I think my oldest, his love language is quality time, and he wants to just like be with me. And I don't necessarily have that. I'm like, I love you, but you could be over there sometimes too. So just like, he's like right here. So once you figure that out, I think you can make these special occasions like Mother's Day, birthdays, Christmases more special, but it can't just be about how you feel giving the presents. It has to be how they are going to feel the most appreciated.
Well, and I think, I think that changes with time too, though. I mean, I like my son is going to be 14
Totally.
in September, and Jackie and I were talking about this before we went on air, that I have been dropping hints to my son. Well, not even hints, reminders that Mother's Day, is the day that it is. And we have to recognize that he's limited in our house in terms of what he can do, because it's just me and him, and he can't drive, and he doesn't have an income. And so he's like, I can't buy you anything. And I remind him, like, when have I ever cared about being bought something? Like, what's important to me and making me feel valued? And he said, well, a card. And I said, okay, great. So then make that happen. And so I feel bad for receiving my son's card that he made for me, which I said to Jackie was a folded up piece of construction paper that he pulled out of his drawer, and he wrote in pencil this very sweet note to me, but it felt like he did it while I was in the bathroom. And he's like, oh crap, and I don't want to take away what he wrote, but there was a part of me, like, the only thing that I've cared about, and I've told him, is that I want a card that you put some effort and energy into, and then it felt like it was last minute. And so I'm wondering, like, here's my feeling of how I want to be loved is a sweet message, or like a note, that tells me how you feel about me. And how do I now teach my son, like, okay, well, you did the note, but next time, could you put a little effort into it? Because the effort's important too. So I don't know what my thought or my
He's
question
not
is.
a marker eater, so he could actually use some color.
Yeah, but when you've expressed, and so this is where, like teaching your kids, like, how do you do that? Like, I feel like I'm a pretty good mom, but how did I miss that connection from my kid? Like, how did he not get the memo?
Well, it sounds like your love language is words of affirmation. Mm-hmm. So you like words, and he may not have that. So that's something, that skill set might need to be, a little fine-tuned throughout the year. But I also think that people don't get a pass just because maybe you're better at one thing or the other. And moms tend to be really good at multitasking and doing a lot of things, but their kids don't have those skill sets because they're not fully humans yet.
Well, we were talking, but Jackie and I were talking about, like, okay, so just saying about a pass, like, here's an opportunity. Like, I want to educate and teach my child and promote some of those skills and help him develop, but at the same time, I don't want to make him feel bad for what he did do, because he is 13 and he's learning. But let me just back up and say this. What he wrote to me was beautiful, and it was heartfelt. And for my child who has a hard time communicating, it was beautiful. I just would have loved a marker or a pen, the presentation. I mean, I'm saying this with love and irritation in my heart. And a part of me is like, because when I tell him
love and irritation,
when he makes cards for the people, I'm like, okay, put a little color into it, put a little effort in it. But when he makes birthday cards for his friends, for anything else, I've always said, make it look like you put some effort into it. Like, right. Dude, get a crayon, get a marker, draw. Put something else in it so it doesn't look like you just scribbled it as you were walking out the door. So when it comes time for Mother's Day, how did he miss the boat on that? Like, because I didn't tell him. I mean, and so I'm feeling a little sad. Like,
but Brenda, do you think that book is actually, like, I mean, now that Sam is 13, like, is that something you think kids would benefit from it? Is there a kid version, or
that includes Star Wars and Pokemon and fidget spinners? Like,
I know that there are online quizzes that people can take to try to determine what love language you are. So, maybe your son is more quality time, or maybe he is words of affirmation, but he's not interested in. He's still a 13-year-old boy, so he doesn't really want to, make anything fancy. But I think there are some online tools that people can go and try to figure out. It's very, very helpful in any relationship, because it's helped me with my mom, talking about Mother's Day, because she likes words of affirmation. And Kim, true story, my mom has 7 children. She has in the past bought Mother's Day cards for herself times 7, and she has mailed them to us and said, send these to me in a few weeks. And and it was like, oh, okay, so you're really clear on what you'd like this year. Wow. She is words of affirmation through and through. And so when we were super busy, a few years ago, she didn't get any cards. She was really sad. So the next year she bought them herself, and then she mailed them to us, and we turned around I'll mail them to her. So
I hope you at least signed them.
We did. Kind of tacky, but very effective.
Wow, yeah, I'm starting to think that, like, I mean, it's funny because when I got married to my husband, and his family is very much like, here's my Christmas list. I would like you to buy me this book from Amazon. This is the author, and this is what it's called.
Oh, weird.
And it but at the same time, it's very effective. Like, nobody's ever disappointed, And so I think my love language is definitely, nobody wants to admit that their love language is gifts, But I think that also growing up with 12 siblings, like, gifts weren't really a thing. I mean, it was a thing, but you know what I mean?
Gifts weren't a thing for me. I think it's, my son and I have conversations often where it's like, what do we admire about each other? What do we, what are qualities that we like? I mean, when we go to bed, we talk like, and so that has been a constant conversation. So I know what my son thinks about me and what he feels about me. I want it to, the gift would be for it to come unsolicited, to be like unprompted,
right?
To come from his heart. And I know that that's a tall order, but I am a mushy, emoting. Yeah. That is my kid is not.
Right.
And so
And you know,
and I have to
and
work
it's
on
the
that.
two
but like,
of you.
And it
That's
is
the thing
two of us.
too. It's
and
like,
so I struggle with wanting to teach him how to do this and,
Yeah.
and be a role model, but then I also want to allow him to evolve as his own man. And I'm disappointed.
yeah.
I mean, not literally, but like, I was like, oh.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So
Who knew this was going to be a therapy session?
Kim's therapy, you know, stay with us. No, so I mean, Kim, I think that you know, I think it's brave to put it out there that you have needs, because as women and as moms, we're supposed to like never express the fact that we actually have emotional needs, and sometimes they need to, you know, to be filled by children. And I think it's okay. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think
but
it's okay to want your son to take initiative and do something special for you.
Well, and I appreciate that. And I want to highlight the fact that Brendy, as every year does a single mother's or a single mom brunch, right? Or like, what do you, I don't want to take away from the title, what you do. So what is it?
Oh, we just make it. It's a single mom's Mother's Day lunch.
Okay. And so
Yeah,
do you like the moms that you have, do they ever talk like candidly, do they ever say anything like this to you for single moms that maybe don't have someone else in the house to help their kids learn some of these things? Like, does that ever come up?
It does often, and it comes up in the way of kind of not envy or jealousy, but just you can tell their heart is like, how do I teach my son? And it's a lot because I have sons, so I get that more. How do I teach my son how to be a man if there's not a man in the house? So that's the question that I get most often. And that's really hard for me to address. And then how do I teach him how to do X, Y, and Z? So, and my typical response is, you know, well, I will be praying for a very specific man to come into your life, whether that's an uncle or a brother or a grandfather, somebody at church, to come in and really invest in that child's life, male or female. But also, you have to be intentional about your time. So if you want them to be learning skill sets on cars or whatever, find an older man who's good with cars and say, hey, can he come over one Saturday every 2 months or something? You know, so I mean, we just kind of have to be intentional. If there's something missing in that child's life, the moms need to be intentional about trying to fit it in. So, but I do get that question a lot from the single moms that we help with. And it's a lot of, you know, I need help, but I don't want to ask my child to be that person for me because they're still my child. But I also need to teach them how to eventually be a grown, full functioning member of society. So it's a hard balance.
So, I mean, you know, we're at a place now where women's voices are stronger than ever, right? We're standing up for whatever your belief system is, you know, your political background. We are all, I think there's more of a platform for women to speak up and to become successful, to really just follow our dreams, right? So I think there's like a, you know, get out of our way. We're women, you know, we're equal and all of this stuff. And then we're like, oh, but we want, you know, you to treat us. And Kimmy, you and I talk about this a little bit. I don't think I'm being very succinct, but then we're like, we're soft and we want to be, you know, loved in this very gentle way. And we want these gifts and we want these flowers and we want like, do you think that where we are as a country and as a gender kind of like goes against some of those emotional needs that we may have and that people don't really know how to deal with it?
So is that like when you want to have someone open the door for you, but yet you want to be able to prove that you can open the door for yourself?
Well, like we've talked about that before, but I think that with Mother's Day too, and it's like, you know, our kids see us, they see us work or they see us like do so much and do it on our own, and we don't necessarily, especially like those kids with single parents, like they don't necessarily have that ability to just like, okay, I need a break or I need somebody to take over. I just think that we're so focused on being strong sometimes that we have kids or even husbands that don't necessarily know how to let us be soft and provide in the way that we need emotionally.
Yeah, I totally agree. And And I see it a lot in the single moms that I work with, but also just in the friends that are not in that situation. They have this idea that they have to look strong, they have to appear completely capable and do the full-time working mom, career mom, whatever mom, category you're in, but then they can't appear weak. They can't appear, they can't ask for help because they're the same. My husband doesn't ask for help, or my partner doesn't ask for help, so I shouldn't either. And I do think that is a direct result of women feeling like they have to be that, that here I am, woman, hear me roar, fist up in the air. But then also I'm tired and my arm is tired and I kind of want to take a nap, and you can't play both of those at the same time. And I think that sometimes our partners don't know how to react when we switch roles, and then they're confused because, wait, are you hear me roar woman, or are you, I kind of need to
hear me snore
time. I don't know. yeah, hear me snore. So,
it's funny.
Yeah,
I have always,
it's very confusing.
I have always, not always, in the last 15 years, I have rejected the whole concept of a woman having to be strong, because I think, like you just said, Brandy, that the opposite of that is weak. And I think that being a strong woman implies something that maybe doesn't include other parts of us that are also part of just being a person, and so,
right.
I've struggled with that because, both of us, all of us have just acknowledged that, the opposite of, not putting our arms in the air is sleeping. Like,
right.
Right. It's acknowledging that we have vulnerabilities or that some days we don't have the energy. Like, that is all part of just being a human being.
Right.
And the whole idea of what strong is, like, I think strong, if we're going to use that word, includes part of being this strong woman is recognizing that I have softness and that I have vulnerabilities and that I have moments where I just want to check out. Like that, the strength is acknowledging and being able to communicate those things, so that it doesn't have to be categorized as one way or the other. I think that's where the confusion, because it's like, okay, today, which part are you? Who are you today? What role are you going to play? And like, I think that's where we get into trouble a little bit,
right.
Because that's the confusion. We don't do that with men, like at all. They're just a man, right. And they have all of those components, and we don't classify them as anything other than just that. Like, I don't know.
I think it's hard because we expect people to respond to our soft side when we barely ever show it. I guess that's my whole thing. Is like, I want to have those cuddles and gifts and flowers and, treat me like a lady and, dance with me in the living room on date night, even if we can't go out and all that stuff. But like, when's the last time I was able to be vulnerable and soft in my daily life? Because I'm like, I've got 3 kids. I've got, we've got special needs happening over here. I've got jobs. I've got and it's like, I feel like a drill sergeant or, somebody who's like the foreman, and then all of a sudden it's like, I want you to come home and treat me like, the princess I want to be. And it's like, well, I don't know how to do that, and half the time it's like, it's very tough for me to switch roles too and like let go of one and into the other. And so I feel like, it's not necessarily just Mother's Day, but I feel like it's hard for us women to get what we feel like we need when we're not putting out there in the universe that side of us.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with our culture in general, regardless of male, female, the speed of which our day happens. There's no, and we're so connected and we're so consumed with, the things that are on our to-do list that, by the time 8 o'clock rolls around and you're supposed to be kind of winding down and having a conversation, all you want to do is, get lost on Facebook, get lost on Pinterest or whatever. And you're not really evaluating what is it that I would like to do for myself right now. Or how can I serve my mental health. You just kind of keep going and the day starts over, and that's an exhausting existence.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And you used the word intentional earlier, and we only have a few more minutes with you, but tell us how you, as a person, like the one thing, and you and I are also now Facebook friends, like on Facebook, which we all know is, if it's on Facebook, it's true. You seem to live a very intentional life, whether it's your marriage or your kids or your business. And it's inspiring. And so tell us how, if that's true, first of all, and how you're able to do that.
Well, thank you. I do feel like that probably roots from somebody had asked me that actually last week. How do you do X, Y, and Z with such intention? And it does root from when I was 9. My father passed away, and there was a lot of changes that happened very quickly in my life, and I was expected to be kind of an adult sooner than I was ready to be, but also memories were fading, and it was very hard for me to process that I didn't remember what my dad looked like, and I didn't remember certain way his voice sounded, and it was before videos and pictures were so common. And so a big part of who I am is wanting to make sure that I am enjoying the life that I have been given, and that my children see me living intentionally, because we're not promised tomorrow, and we're not and we say that like, oh, you don't know if tomorrow's going to happen, but we act like it is. So I try to live my life like this is it, and I'm not going to get to see my babies grow up, or I'm not going to have 50 years with my husband. So memories are very important to me, and how I do that is just scheduling. And people make fun of me for it, but I've kind of embraced the fact that I'm a nerd, and that everything is calendared and everything is scheduled. And it's not something that is automatic for people, but it's not an impossible skill set to learn. So sometimes people think, oh, I'm not organized, so I don't get to do that. And I'm like, no, you just need to teach yourself how to do that. If you can learn a new language, you can, learn a new skill at an office, you can learn how to be organized. And you got to be intentional with your time. Time is like money. It's finite. You can't create more time. So you need to be intentional with what you have. So calendars, and there's so many resources now with online, online calendars, free apps, reminders, text, technology. Siri can remind you to do stuff. I mean, there's really limited excuses.
Yeah. So give us an example of how you calendar. I mean, do you calendar your free time?
No, and I don't have so much of that right now with 3 children, but like for instance, I have worked out a babysitting swap schedule with 2 moms that live within like a mile of me. So we're really close to each other. So we can't afford to go out and do big date nights or whatnot. But I just need somebody to come over for 90 minutes while my kids are asleep, and I want to go have coffee with my husband, and or go get a drink down at the corner Mexican restaurant in 90 minutes. So an hour and a half, like we leave at 8:00. And we don't pay each other. We just couch sit because the kids are asleep. So what I got 2 friends to do is we found days that we can swap. And the it's not a rule, but it's suggested that you use that 90 minutes when you're on my couch, that you either are doing something that you've been putting off, the 90 minutes you haven't had time to write thank you cards, or sit down and journal, or sit down and pray for your family. Do something for 90 minutes that you can't do at your home because it's too doggone distracting. But 90 minutes on my couch where you don't, and I won't give you the Wi-Fi password. So things like you be intentional with that 90 minutes, and then I am out 90 minutes with my husband and just getting coffee at Starbucks. And it's once a month, and it's so nice, and it's totally free. So whatever you spend when you go out, but it's super intentional, and it's on the calendar, and we schedule it out for the whole year.
Huh. Wow.
So, and it only really took about a week to figure out the logistics. And then we have a date night once a month that's free on the calendar. So that's an idea.
That's great. And just looking forward to that, or having the memory of that sometimes, for the 2 weeks ahead or the 2 weeks past is enough to kind of get you through some of that stuff. Cause I don't have any sort of consistency with dates or anything like that. But, we have to have you back on again to like teach us how to all organize our lives for sure.
Well, I would be happy to.
You are the mother of all organization.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to text you guys a picture of what my laundry looks like right now on my couch, because Facebook makes everything look look perfect, but my house is a disaster right now, and both kids have so much epic level snot coming out of their face. So it's a mess over here too.
Breathe, right?
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brendy.
Brendy, thank you
All
so
right,
much
guys.
for joining us.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. I love having her on because she comes from things quite different from how we do, and I learned from her.
Well, and she's very resourceful. You know, I mean, I like I said, I've known Brandy for a long time, and I knew her before she was married, and so it's been interesting to kind of watch the evolution,
Right.
And she's resourceful. You know, I mean, she's very committed to her family and to her boys and to her husband and to her faith, and you know, no debt. Like, she really just doesn't live beyond her means. And so when I say resourceful, it's really just like she said, she figured out how to get free help and like not have a cost. You know, it's just I'm proud of her. I'm proud of you, Brendy.
So one thing we did, by the way, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to BROADScast.
You're not just tuning in because you've been here the whole time.
I know you've downloaded
Yeah.
it. I'm not sure how you got here, but you're listening to BROADScast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall. Please head over to our iTunes channel and subscribe. Also, we're on YouTube and starting to put the videos up there of the show, which is very exciting. So
Super
head over
duper.
to YouTube. What?
I said super duper.
Super duper. But one of the things we did before the show was asked listeners to call in and wish their moms a happy Mother's Day. And so we're going to play some of those. We have one that was very, very heartfelt and longer. So we're going to end the show with these, and we'll catch you next time. But I wanted to play a special one for you.
Mom, I want to wish you happy Mother's Day. You're a smart, beautiful, and creative person, and I love you so much.
Oh, my
That's
sweet
your
son.
boy.
It's very
I
funny.
wrote in the script, but
Well, he came down and he's like, okay, what am I supposed to say? I'm like, okay, what do you like about me? What are your best experiences with me? It's very sweet. And oh my God, he sounds like a man. Like, wow, his
Right?
voice. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then apparently, because, you know, our editor / tech guru happens to be my husband.
Oh, he like the note I sent him. None of our kids have left messages, Jeff.
No, I think he had, yeah.
None of our
Mother's
kids
Day.
did.
I love you so much, and I'm your oldest son, and we should totally do something special. I love you so much.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you. Hey, Mom. You're the greatest mom ever. I hope you have the best Mother's Day ever. Love you.
Aww.
Look at their little voice. I
know.
love having
Yeah.
this each year because we can hear like how much
Yeah.
they're changing. And
It's so funny you say that. I called my son's phone the other day, and because he wasn't answering, it went to voicemail. And his voicemail is from the day he got his phone
Oh,
when
my
he was in
gosh.
6th grade. So it's like, hi, this is Sam. And I was like, please, I have to get it off because it is so super sweet. And I'm like, please don't ever change it. And no one leaves him voicemails because they're 13. They don't do that. But it is the cutest. Oh my gosh. Oh,
Wow.
that's the best gift.
all right, so we're going to play the rest of them and we'll catch you next time.
My name is Ron. I just wanted to call in and leave a Mother's Day message. I've always had such amazing thoughts and experiences with Mother's Day in the past, as I had a great relationship with my mom, and it was very important for me to celebrate her on this special day. My mom has Alzheimer's. There was a time, it was Thanksgiving of 2008, and my parents came into town for Thanksgiving, and it was the first time I noticed something was starting with my mom. She had mentioned to me if I had watched the TV show Boston Legal, and I said, no, I didn't see it the other night. And 5 minutes later, she asked me the same question, which to me wasn't really odd. It's just, you know, a memory lapse. But then 5 minutes after that, she asked it again, and something just seemed strange. It doesn't get any easier for the survivors of an Alzheimer's patient. I have a friend who recently lost their mother, and him and I have spoken of which scenario is worse, losing your mother or having your mom physically here, yet mentally gone. where you really have no relationship with that person. I'm definitely experiencing that firsthand, and I find it extremely painful. I hate this disease. I hate what it's done to my mom. I hate what it's done to my family. I hate losing a person who is physically still present, but mentally has 5 things to say. I have sympathy for everyone that has to go through this. Today, I will celebrate my mom. I will go to where she's living and spend some time with her. Thank you for letting me share.
Hi, my name is Calvin MacDonald, and I was wondering if I could give a Mother's Day shout out to my mother, Laura MacDonald, that I love her and she's awesome, and just crap like that.
My stepmom, and my cool Aunt Jersey. The best Mother's Day ever. Woo!
Hi there, my name is Michelle, calling from Los Angeles. I just want to talk about my mom, Gladys. She is absolutely, by far, hands down, my best friend in the whole world. And I don't know what I would do without her, truly. She is my confidant, my biggest supporter. She has taught me about being a lady of grace and a lady of respect and strength and also of softness, and I really don't know who I would be without her in my life. And having a child of my own, I just feel confident to just say, what would my mom do? And that's really my litmus test on how to take the next step. So happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
Hey, this is Martin, and I just want to call in to wish my mom a very wonderful and happy Mother's Day. This is an unusual Mother's Day in our family because we just lost our grandmother May 9th, and it will be, followed very quickly by this holiday to celebrate moms. And I want my mom to know how much we love her. You got a house full of love, and although we lost your mom, my grandmother, we're going to celebrate her life to the fullest, and it's going to be a wonderful day to celebrate. So we love you, and thank you for everything you've always done. You're an amazing mom.
Hi, my name is Abby, and I'm calling to wish my mom a happy Mother's Day. I love my mom because I could talk to her about anything, and she's always there for me. If I have a bad day, I can complain to her, and she listens, which makes me feel better. And we have fun making fun of terrible movies together the whole time. So thank you, Mom, for putting up with everything that I make you go through. And happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
Hi, I am Anonymous, and I'm calling to wish my mother a happy Mother's Day. One of my best experiences with my mom is we were dog sledding in the snow, and we totally crashed, and I thought my mom was hurt, but when I looked over, she was just laughing, and I laughed too, and that's what I love about my mom. She always just laughs about everything, and she doesn't care what people think of her, and she's just really happy and upbeat, and she's funny, and I love her. So happy Mother's Day, Mom. What? Oh, yeah, she doesn't say the word potty anymore, which I like. So happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day, Elita and Nanny. Love, Hunter.
Hi, it's Anonymous again. And so I was calling because I don't think I quite said I love you, Mom, at that last thing. So here it goes. Mom, I love you so much. You're great. I also love myself.
I wanted to call to give a shout out to my mom, Judy Joy, for Mother's Day, to let her know that not a day goes by that I don't know how lucky and blessed I am to have such a terrific mother, friend, confidant, grandmother to my children, mother-in-law to my husband, an all-around amazing, amazing woman in my life. I love you, Mom. Enjoy your special day. You deserve it.